Hello and welcome to another episode of the Untold. Of course, this is the show where we have tremendous guests, where we bring them and to talk about all of their experiences, their journeys, basically their path to this point. For today's very special episode, we have theatrical actor Eissa Haitham, who's very specialized in acting Shakespeare on the stage, which is for a lot of people, it's an incredible task. It's a very difficult task to do. So for today's episode, we're going to be sitting with him. We're going to find out all about the keys to this amazing work. So stay tuned. And we're back. We're joined by theatrical actor Eissa Haitham. I'd like to first welcome you on The Untold.
Thank you so much for having me in this amazing podcast.
Thank you. And for the audiences, I just mentioned that you're a theatrical actor, which, kind of means you act in theater.
Correct.
So I want to dig into that question in particular. How did your journey start? Like, what path did you take?
So my journey actually began in 2022, basically when Miss Alison Sean Price, my mentor as well, she announced of having an audition. So in like 2009 and 2008, I was really deep into acting because my brother used to act in Arabic.
Yeah.
And basically I had like something telling me like, you can do this, you can act. And it was like a dream. So I went there and basically auditioned and I got accepted.
Oh, mashallah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember the exact text I got from Miss Alison Sean Price was, do you want to act for the first ever time in Macbeth?
Oh, the
Yeah.
first time, just throw you into Macbeth.
Yeah, Macbeth. So at the first time, I was really hesitant. I was like, am I ready for Macbeth? And basically, I told her, like, I need some time
Yeah.
to think about it. The second day, I couldn't hesitant and, just go in and just say that, all right, I'm ready.
So the first play you got into was Macbeth.
Yes.
And then is there a reason why, you kind of leaned into theatrical actors instead of, going for TV shows or whatever?
Not really, because here's the thing. In theater, you can
Yeah.
be more you.
It's in the moment, right?
Exactly. So basically, I was really deeply inspired by many Arabic shows,
Yeah.
especially Aladdin in the 90s of
Yeah.
Ali Jum'a, Dawood Hussein. And, it actually had something in my heart saying that you should go to theater. You should act in theater. So the first ever time was Macbeth and playing the murderer. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so Miss Allison basically introduced me to Mr. Hamid al-Janai.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Mr. Hamid has been not only my mentor, he's
terrific. Like, we've had him on the show and
amazing.
he's amazing.
I absolutely, I got a lot of advices from him.
Yeah.
Basically, he's one of the most people that actually believed in me and said that you have potential.
Mashallah.
So yeah, it's a wonderful experience, honestly.
And stepping onto the stage, it brings a lot of fear, right? It brings a lot of horror for some people, being there, seeing the audience's live reactions, their eyes opening up, closing, looking left and right. So those first times you actually stepped on the stage for a play in front of audience, how was that like? Talk me through the emotions, the nerves, and everything.
Actually, for the first ever time, basically, when you step into stage, basically you're going through rehearsals.
Yeah.
You're understanding your character. So the more confident of your character, the less fear that you're gonna have.
Oh,
basically.
yeah.
So the first ever time when I stepped foot in the theater, it was one of the best,
Mashallah. Yeah.
feelings, because you kind of have this excitement that you want to show the world that you're an actor. You're not afraid of your character or anything. So
Yeah.
it's one of the best feelings, honestly.
This is honestly quite heartwarming because for people, they are aware of Denzel Washington, right? And he has a very famous interview.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna paraphrase it because I don't remember the specific, but he said that acting in movies is a job, acting in theater is hard work. So you're saying I walked in without fear, I was full of confidence. That gives a lot of people, the idea that stage is where it's at.
I mean, honestly, theater basically, it became part of my life right now.
Yeah.
And many people consider it as a job or any of that. I consider it as a hobby or
It's
a lifestyle.
the love, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially with people that you love, basically, because the people that I'm acting with right now, I don't consider as my co-workers or colleagues or any of
Yeah.
that. They're like my family, especially with a director.
Yeah.
If a director absolutely welcomes you in his, for example, in his place or any of that, you're gonna have more confidence.
Yeah.
So one of the best experiences was actually acting. It is. So especially when you're going into theater and showing the world that you have a story to stay, it's such a wonderful
Yeah.
experience.
And there's no room for error, right? There's no cut, there's no second take, whatever. You're there, you're in the moment. You know, the audiences can see if you're trying to act. So you gotta be fully in the character. And that's, you know, it's such a very valuable kind of thing and very hard thing to do, honestly.
I mean, at the end, we're all humans. We
Yeah.
do errors, we do mistakes. So even if you do the biggest mistake, you still have to keep going.
Yeah.
Because if you basically stopped or say that I'm not good enough, people will notice it.
The show always gotta go
The
on.
show must go on.
Yeah.
As you prefer, you said it.
Yeah.
The show must go on.
Yeah.
So basically, even if you did any errors, you have to keep going.
Yeah. And was there a moment in your career or a performance
Yeah.
that kind of made you stop and think, oh, this is what I want to do. I'm very happy with this. I'm in the right path.
The
Like a
first time,
specific
yeah.
moment.
The first time that I stepped foot as the murderer in Macbeth.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
the best moment, because when you're seeing audiences, basically, they're looking at you and saying that, what are you gonna do? You basically have this kind of like, I'm special.
Yeah.
This is my moment. I'm not gonna ruin it.
Yeah.
So I just acted and I just said, like, this is what I want. For the past few years that I'm looking, this is the thing that I've been chasing for the past, I don't know, decade or any of that.
MashaAllah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'd imagine like when all the lights are out and then there's a spotlight and so you walk in, the feeling is
Oh, it's
out of this
wonderful.
world.
It is wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, spotlight on and just, go as your character, and it is one of the best experiences. Like, for me as an actor, basically, it's such a wonderful thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
And let's talk about your method as an actor,
Tell
because
me.
I know for a lot of people,
of course.
they kind of like to take the idea of their disassociating themselves from the character. For some people, they step into the character. Like, what's your take on characters? How do you see yourself on stage?
So first of all, we have to read the script.
Yeah.
Basically, understand what's the character's background, or what is he exactly. Is he human? Is he a monster? Or any of that.
Yeah.
So after the rehearsals, basically, you kind of, at the beginning, you feel that maybe this character is not for me. It's not made for me. Why am I given to this character specifically? But then when you were basically rehearsing like weeks or months, you get used to it to a point that, how I'm going to leave this character?
You find the voice.
Yeah, and actually that happened to me once in the Macbeth and the Murderer, Orion in the Children Time Machine, and Midsummer's Night Dream, Peter Quince.
Okay.
It took me a long time to get it off.
Get out of the character.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's your process to get into the character? Is it just reading and rehearsals, or do you do the character on your free time in front of the mirror, or just within the rehearsals and that's it?
Not only the rehearsals, basically. We have movements, we understand the character more.
Yeah.
We basically see how the character moves, because, for example, a monster cannot walk like a human being.
Yeah.
So you have to walk like a monster. That happened when Orion. I remember I was struggling a lot. Then I told Hamid, like, can you help me with this? And he helped me and showed me how to like walk like a monster. And I remember it was one of the best performances. I was even shocked. I was like, is that me? That isn't me.
Yeah.
So it was one of the best experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to really, have the ideology of what's the character, why is he doing this, what is the objective, what is his beginning and end, or any of that.
Yeah.
I mean, people tend to say that acting is very hard or any of that. I disagree. It's one of the easiest, and if you're really passionate about it, you can go.
Well,
beyond.
I'm gonna disagree with you there, because
Tell me.
that's obviously a sign that you are very good at it.
Thank you.
Because as audiences,
Yeah.
if we see bad acting, we kind of can't know, right? But if we see good acting, we are so lost in the role itself. So I do disagree that I think acting is very hard, And the fact that you're here and you have so many testimonies shows that you're an incredible actor.
Thanks.
So, but you're just being humble, and I do want to thank you for that.
I mean, basically, it's been like, a hard journey,
Yeah,
especially with, I remember the first ever time, before the airing of Macbeth, I really had a really close cousin, and unfortunately, he passed away.
oh, I'll let him.
So I dedicated basically being the
Yeah.
murderer and being more aggressive to him. Basically, when you're having this kind of fire inside of you,
Yeah.
and you just let it out like some, like a monster or any of that.
Yeah, you found an outlet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I absolutely did. I mean, many people consider acting as therapy. I consider it as therapy.
yeah,
So basically, to escape reality and have a wonderful team and a wonderful family. So it's one of the best things, honestly.
yeah. Honestly, acting, you're stepping into a role and you're kind of stepping away from reality.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, that kind of escape is something they much need, right? It's like you said,
course.
it's a great tool of therapy.
Of course.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, all these plays you're doing in English, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, how did that come along? Because there's not a lot of local plays that are done in English, as far as I'm aware of. So, how did all of this?
So when I was in ninth grade, the first ever time I was reading Macbeth,
Okay.
I remember my old teacher, Gavin Hunter, basically taught us about Macbeth. And, as youngsters, we kind of want something like aggressive and adventure and basically having, these battles like that.
Yeah.
So when we started reading Macbeth, we were so, like, really rooted into Macbeth to the point I was saying, like, where can I act Macbeth?
Yeah.
I was like finding it and I was like, where can I act Macbeth? And alhamdulillah, like, it took me like 7 years like that. And I was shocked because I met Hamid, I met Miss Allison, and they actually showed me, like, this is your time to act Macbeth. So it's kind of like a universal stuff. And to be honest, it's one of the best feelings,
And
honestly.
is it nerve-wracking to perform in English, or did it just come naturally?
Actually, not.
Oh,
Because I remember when I was a young age, I started to speak English, not Arabic.
yeah.
So it was by far one of the easiest stuff to ever do, especially when you're really used to a language that you really know from a young age. So it's really easy to adapt very quickly, to understand the story and the script and all of that. So it's one of the easiest, honestly, for me,
Yeah.
basically.
And this is also a sign of your talent, because Shakespeare and the English Shakespeare is a very kind of,
Yeah,
it's very its own thing, right? So you got to memorize all of those things, and then you got to perform them with believability.
yeah,
And obviously, those are all sign of your, I would say, multi-talent kind of tools. So
yeah.
props to you.
I mean, basically the rehearsing of Shakespeare or any of that, we kind of had some difficulties. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
But thanks to Hamad, thanks to Allison, they're always with us, basically.
Yeah.
Even Layla Qadi, I special dedication for her as well. She always goes to training with us and basically goes to rehearsal and corrects us. For example,
Oh,
if we
okay,
have
yeah.
basically a word that it is incorrect, she corrects us
Yeah.
to be the perfect actor.
Yeah, and honestly, this is, huge props to all of them, because,
Yeah.
You've had a great circle of mentors and tutors.
Of course.
And I want to just, emphasize the fact that if you have people that are setting you on the right path, you're going to be excelling at that kind of path. So again, thanks to all of those people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But with that, we are going to take a very quick break and we'll come right back.
All right.
We are back with Eissa, Haitham, and I want to put you on the spot, right? Because you performed locally and you performed internationally. And I want to take your opinion on, I wouldn't say the difficulties, but maybe the perception or what you took out of those experiences.
I mean, basically, I was a shy kid
Yeah.
once. So after acting like in several projects and it's a mega project, I kind of have this confidence that I have inside me right now. Basically, be confident. If you are whatever you are, just do whatever it takes to reach to the point.
Yeah.
So I mean, acting really helped me a lot. especially with, mentally or any of that. It actually helped me to understand that whatever happens, just go on. The show must go on, basically. So it's a wonderful. I mean, it's like part of my life right now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And are you still, and this is maybe going to get into too much personal, but are you still like shy and acting is kind of your face or mask to the audience, or acting completely remove the shyness you've had?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
I'm not shy at all. I remember I was really terrified for the first time of acting.
yeah.
And, I actually had doubts that maybe I'm not going to do good, maybe I'm going to underperform. But when I actually went and acted for the first time, that was the breaking point, basically, of, annihilating the fear that I have, or the doubts that I have. It's completely gone. So it actually helped me a lot.
You know what's so fascinating
Yeah.
about this one is because, you were shy and then you got into acting theater for Shakespeare, which in my opinion is one of the hardest forms of acting. So it's like someone who's afraid of fires jumping into a volcano, but you took that step and then you got out of it, unfazed and, unharmed.
Yeah.
And mashallah, everyone, says credits to you. It's honestly amazing. And it just shows that if you had fears, it's best to tackle them on head on instead of, just ignoring them.
I mean, I took one advice from my mentor and my director still, Mr. Hamel Janai.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, don't run away from fear. You have to face it to be one of the greatest and one of the best person out there.
Yeah.
And till this day, I give credits and, I salute him for this amazing advice.
Well, that's another salute, Mr. Hamid. And I want to ask you, performing Shakespeare locally and more specifically to, local audiences, have you noticed, their perception, or how do they take the characters? How do they take the plays and everything?
Actually, I remembered again about Macbeth. It was one of the greatest moments I've ever had.
Mashallah.
I remember basically I was saying, like, are people gonna be interested?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's gonna come. And I remember the first night, it was so packed. People were even sitting on the floor. Like, I was looking, I was like, did we actually do it? I'm asking my, friends and family, like, what happened exactly? Because I have never seen a place so packed for a play. And it's not only like an Arabic play, it's an English
It's
play.
in English, yeah.
So I remember it went like off the grid, and it was one of the best performances we've ever had. I remember even a British newspaper even wrote about it.
Mashallah.
And we were so fascinated to the point we went to Mr. Hamid and we told him, like, we want another Shakespeare. And he's like,
Okay.
this is what I do. So
Yeah.
I mean, I really give credits to him as well. I give credits to the team and everyone,
Yeah.
because when no one believed in us, we actually believed in ourselves, and we did history.
Yeah.
I
Prove
mean,
them wrong.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it was an astonishing night,
Yeah.
to be honest.
And honestly, you did mention that the perception locally kind of, surprised you and how supportive it is. And I do want to emphasize on that because when I was studying here, I would say 2015, 16, there was a play of Hamlet in the British Embassy.
Yeah.
And my friend got invited and he took me with him. And the amount of people we saw there, and not just foreigners, right? Even locals who are so invested in the play, and they were kind of reciting whatever the stage actors were saying. It was so amazing, right? It was so, especially for someone like me who likes literature.
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't read a lot of Shakespeare, but I do read a lot of literature. It was so fascinating talking about the local scene.
I mean, basically, a lot of people, they associate literature with Shakespeare, and that is incorrect, basically, because for me, as a marketing student, which there's no relations with
Oh, you're a
literature.
marketing student.
Of course,
Okay.
yeah. So it doesn't make sense, basically.
Yeah.
But a lot of people love Shakespeare because, this guy have created many, headlines and many stories that
Yeah.
are being played to this day. I mean, I remember when we did Midsummer's Night Dream, people were saying this has to be one of the funniest productions we've ever done.
Yeah.
And you don't know how much proud and how, an honor to do these stuff and, these plays. But for Hamlet, I consider it, for myself, in my personal opinion, it is one of the hardest plays you can ever do.
Oh, what's about that play in particular that makes it so hard to do?
Mentally.
Mentally?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Hamlet is a mentally incompetent person.
Yeah.
So anyone who's taking the role of Hamlet has to, have that challenge.
Yeah.
Because for me, when I saw it, I was like, if anyone played Hamlet and did really amazing, that's one of the greatest actors for
Yeah.
me, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, because you can't have someone who's, and this is maybe going off the road, who's very happy without any responsibility, without
Yeah.
any, in Arabic, humum, playing Hamlet, right? It's gonna
Yeah.
show this guy's way too relaxed.
I
playing-
mean, yeah, obviously. Like, you have to have this kind of bonding with the character.
with the character. Yeah.
Because if you don't have any bondness or any of that, you're not gonna do well, and people will immediately recognize you and say that, what kind of actor is that?
Yeah.
So basically, Hamlet for me it's one of the hardest. But there's several like characters that I want to take on, and I mean, I can't wait for it.
Would you be, share some of those characters
Two
or
of them.
keep them surprised?
Actually, two of them.
Okay.
Macbeth
Macbeth.
from
yeah.
Macbeth, Mark Antony from Julius Caesar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there something about those two characters in particular, or just, because they are such a very complex and deep kind of characters that you're drawn into them?
Basically, one category that actually fits perfectly.
Yeah.
The amount of aggression and the amount
Oh.
of ego that it has.
Yeah.
I think, personally, in my opinion, I can play that character very well because I've done the murderer, and
Yeah.
the murderer worked perfectly with me. I remember even people were saying that, I think that's you, and I was like, I'm not a murderer.
I'm a good guy.
Like I was like, wait, did I do something wrong? So I was terrified.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, hopefully you're gonna be playing them. And honestly, Macbeth is such a, I wouldn't say a lively character, but it's such a multi-dimensional kind
it's
of character.
wonderful. It
It's,
is
I think, yeah.
wonderful.
Like even I haven't read the Macbeth the poem, but I've read the story. And even if you just read the blueprints of the story, it's like, oh wow, Macbeth.
Yeah.
That is such a very well-written kind of character.
It is one of
Yeah.
the best. I mean, one of the best plays, especially with the the famous phrases. It's stuck in my head till this day. So it's kind of like, it's one of the best plays.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's an astonishing play, an exceptional play, and a play that is so well known that
Yeah.
is even referred as one of the best commercial plays in Shakespeare.
Yeah, because it has ideas that applies to
Yeah.
broad audiences, right? There are castles, there are fights, there are armies,
Exactly.
so there are duels. So it's like all of that, and then you have the deep layered of Shakespeare dialogue and
Yeah.
the Shakespeare twisted characters in the play.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, Macbeth was even referred as the Scottish play or even the curse play because people were really, they have this kind of fear and have this kind of, thoughts that if I said Macbeth, I would die in the theater.
yeah.
And I remember one incident that a good friend of ours, Brian, literally was screaming Macbeth in the theater, and everyone was saying,
What
like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So it was one of the best moments, honestly.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Brian as well. And I want to ask you something about doing Shakespeare plays in particular, because like we said, his characters are multidimensional. They are very deep, they are very complex. And on top of all of that, you have the dialogue.
Yeah.
So what would you say is the biggest challenge of playing Shakespeare for you personally as an actor, right? Is it the characters, the dialogue, the moments?
I mean, the character,
Okay.
honestly. I remember the first time I was handed the script of Peter Quince from Hamid. He was saying to me, like, I think this character works right on you. I was like, are you sure? So I was reading Peter Quince at the beginning. I was like, what is this? But when the days came, Hamid really knew me to the point that he actually knew a character that fitted me.
Yeah.
So I even was really shocked. I was even talking to Hamid. I was like, I think you knew me, like you know me a lot, to the point that you gave me a character that fitted me perfectly.
Yeah, mashallah.
And yeah,
This is a shout out to Hamid and Allison, or is it Alice?
Allison,
Yeah,
Allison Sean Price.
who both saw characters that you weren't convinced in,
Yeah,
but then you kind of, aced it. So
exactly,
another shout out to them. And
exactly.
I think that's the beauty of having great mentors, is that they
Yeah.
see not the person who you are right now, but they see the person who you could be.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And tackling Shakespeare, I want you to take me through the process, like, of you have a performance in 2-3 months. What's your process like? What's your routine? What's your daily outside of the rehearsals, right? I'm talking about you personally.
So basically, we read the script. I read the script.
Yeah.
I understand more and I dive in deep into the character. Understand what is his background, what is he? Is he a villain? Is he antagonist or protagonist? Basically, this is the first months. And then when you understand more about the character, you understand the movement. So it kind of clicks.
Yeah.
It's like, bonding with the character. So, I mean, honestly, some characters are really easy to tackle. Some characters are very hard to tackle, especially when the first ever time was tackling Orion of the Children Time Machine. I mean, Children Time Machine was adapted from the Time Machine by H.G. Wells.
Yeah.
But then, thanks to Nader Abdullah and Hamid, they kind of changed it and made it more like interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's basically, the key point I would say, or what audiences should basically take from all of this, is that, practice hard work beats anything else, right? It's
Exactly.
practice hard work, practice hard work.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's kind of like a workout, right? You're doing it so much that by the time you walk on stage, it's just, you've already aced all of this.
Of course. I
Yeah.
mean, hard work always beats talent.
Yeah.
That's what I have my ideology basically.
Yeah.
Okay, you have talent, but if you're not doing hard work.
You got to shape it with the hammer.
Of course, because unfortunately, many people, when they believe that they have talent, they're not gonna, do hard work, and then they fail, and then they question like, why did I fail?
Yeah.
So, hard work, until you reach to the point, your objective or your goal. That's what I do.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest reason that I'm doing it right now.
And honestly, it's very commendable, right?
Yeah.
The message, I would say, of this episode in particular,
Of course.
hard work, consistency, and practice,
Of course.
repetitions.
Of course.
It was amazing. I do want to leave you with one last question, because we've unfortunately ran out of time.
Yeah.
Obviously, we spent a lot of time talking about Shakespeare.
Of course.
Is there any play outside of Shakespeare that, you kind of dream of, or a character outside you want to play?
Honestly, for me, basically, there's a lot of plays, but one play that actually, it is Shakespeare, because I'm really bonded with Shakespeare a lot. It's Julius Caesar.
Julius Caesar, yeah.
That play is by far one of the best plays that I have ever read, and especially Mark Antony.
Yeah.
Playing Mark Antony. So I really hope in the future that I will do it, and who knows?
Yeah. And hopefully you're gonna, recite, I think, the most famous line in English literature of all time, which is Et tu, Brutus, or something like that, right? That's from Julius Caesar.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. So with that in mind, I do want to thank you for
Thank
taking
you
the
so much.
time out to sit with us and indulge us on the Untold.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It's an honor.
Thank you again. That was all of the time we've had with Eissa Haitham. We'll come right back after the break. Unfortunately, that was all of the time we've had with Eissa Haitham. Today's episode was a very special one, especially for me, because the topic was of curiosity, of very intrigue for me, right? I had no idea that Shakespeare has a very broad scene in Kuwait, and I'm very happy about that. I am very happy about sitting with Eissa to talk to him about that for today's episode. But unfortunately, that was all of the time we've had. Until next time, goodbye for now.